In the ruins of a fallen capital, a young man fights for power, survival, and the shadows within his own soul. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The untold origin story of Coriolanus Snow. A tale of ambition, betrayal, and the haunting melody of rebellion. Today, we dive deep into the past, where every song carries a secret, and every choice echoes through history. Join me as we unravel the journey behind the rise of one of Panem's most feared leaders. The capital of Panem, the capital, was no longer the grand and dazzling city it once was. The war was over, but its scars still marked every brick and stone of the city. Cracks ran through the walls of buildings, food shortages plagued the markets, and fear lingered in the eyes of its people. This was the new reality of the capital. Amidst this turmoil, Coriolanus Snow kept his identity hidden, wearing a smile as he attended school every day at the Panem Academy. To the outside world, he appeared as an elite student, dressed elegantly and moving with measured grace that impressed everyone. But inside, he was hungry, humiliated, and driven by a fierce ambition. His family, once the most powerful Snow family in the capital, was now nearly ruined. His grandmother, every morning with a cup of tea in hand, recounted old war stories as if trying in vain to restore their lost glory. And Tigris, his cousin, silently helped by sewing clothes to support the household. Coriolanus knew they had neither money nor influence anymore, but there was one opportunity ahead. For the first time, the capital had decided to recruit academy students as mentors for the upcoming 10th Hunger Games. This was Coriolanus's chance to turn his life around. He thought, if I can train a tribute to win, the capital will remember me. My glory will be restored. But fate had other plans. His assigned tribute was Lucy Gray Baird, a strange and peculiar girl from District 12. That district was widely ignored, infamous to the capital, and seen as a refuge for the weak. Morning light spilled over the capital's bustling train station, where a restless crowd had gathered. Reporters, cameras, and mentors filled every corner. An atmosphere of tense anticipation hung heavy in the air, because today, the tributes were arriving. As the train screeched to a halt, the crowd seemed to hold its breath. No one dared to look directly at another. Coriolanus stood among them, a mix of excitement, fear, and burning expectation swirling inside him. His eyes searched for his tribute, the girl from District 12 whose name was listed as Lucy Gray Baird. The train doors opened, and amid the crowd of tributes, an unusual sight caught everyone's attention. There she was, wrapped in colorful clothing, eyes shining with fierce courage, lips humming a song, and at her feet, a snake. Yes, a venomous, brightly colored snake slithered and curled around her, yet she showed no fear. Instead, she smiled, sang, and captivated the entire station with a single glance. A vibrant scarf was tied around her head like a crown of wildflowers. Her voice carried a rebellious tune, like something from the hanging tree, a song of defiance utterly unwelcome in the capital. Coriolanus stood dumbfounded. His mind raced. This girl is strange, dangerous, or charming. Maybe both. Capital officials soon pulled Lucy aside, escorting her to a cage-like chamber. But before she left, she flicked a small snow flower from her pocket toward Coriolanus, the flower named after his family. With a mysterious smile, she said, "This is yours, mentor sir. We're a team now." Something inside Coriolanus shifted in that moment. Suddenly, he thought, this girl could win the games. But being a mentor wasn't enough anymore. He had to become a storyteller. He needed to craft a character around Lucy, one that would win the capital audience's sympathy, love, and entertainment. Not just a tribute fighting to survive, but one ready to conquer. Though the vast capital stadium wasn't yet packed with spectators, the air buzzed with electric tension. Mentor Coriolanus Snow found himself deep in thought about his tribute, Lucy Gray Baird. What is it about her that everyone else is missing? One day, Dr. Gall conducted a test, using venomous snakes to challenge the tribute's courage. Most recoiled in fear, stepping back hastily, but Lucy faced the danger head-on. Slowly, she approached the snakes, then removed the colorful necklace from her neck and tossed it toward them. To everyone's shock, the snakes became calm and even slithered close to her without biting. The Capitol officials were stunned. Snow thought, "This girl knows more than just songs. She has another way to survive." That evening, before the cameras, Lucy sang. Musical note, "Nothing you can take from me was ever yours to own." Musical note. Her voice carried the hidden fire of rebellion. The audience was confused, intrigued, and somewhat captivated. Snow himself was amazed, mesmerized, and just a little afraid. He began to wonder, am I using her only for my own gain? Or am I feeling for her something more? In the silence of the night, beneath the rooftop, Lucy's voice rose again. Musical note, are you coming to the tree? Musical note. Her haunting song stirred a storm deep within Snow's heart. In that moment, Coriolanus understood that though the games had officially begun, their bond would become more than a fight for victory. It would be a battle of the heart. Morning dawned over the vast Capitol Stadium, where the opening ceremony of the games was underway. Coriolanus Snow stood among the crowd, surrounded by buzzing excitement. His eyes kept drifting toward Lucy Gray, the girl in whom he had already sensed a strange, powerful spark. From today begins the deadliest game of life, he told himself. And surviving here requires not just strength, but wit and courage. The game makers announced that each tribute would receive weapons based on their skills. But Lucy remained silent. She refused the offered weapons, trusting instead that her songs and cleverness would keep her alive. The tributes scattered, disappearing into the forest shadows. But Lucy did not get lost. Instead, she became one with the nature around her, blending seamlessly with the rhythm of the woods. Her sweet voice seemed to calm the forest itself, soothing her soul as well. From afar, Snow watched. Lucy did not fight like the others, but her cunning made her formidable. In the darkness of night, Lucy sat beneath a tree, singing softly. Snow realized then that her song was more than just melody. It was a weapon of a different kind. Meanwhile, the Capitol's rulers grew uneasy. Lucy's rising popularity was against the game's strict rules. They feared she might break their control over the spectacle and spark rebellion among the people. Snow found himself torn. On one side, he wanted to protect Lucy. On the other, he needed to strengthen his standing with the Capitol's elite. A harsh question haunted him. How could love and power survive together? As the days passed, a friendship blossomed between Snow and Lucy. Her songs softened his heart, easing his doubts and fears. This game was no longer just a fight for survival. It was a battle of souls. The first night passed beneath the dancing shadows, and both knew that from now on, the game had truly begun. Here, to survive meant more than just protecting the body. It required strengthening the mind as well. Deep in the heart of the forest, beneath the sheltering canopy of trees, Lucy was never truly alone. Around her lingered an unsettling melody of deception and doubt. The rules of the games were harsh, but the hardest challenge of all was the game of trust. From afar, Coriolanus Snow kept a watchful eye on Lucy. An uneasy thought circled his mind. Is there some hidden plan behind her haunting songs? And how much can I really trust her? Lucy understood, well, that the wild forest was no place for blind trust. Every shadow could hide danger, and every word might mask deceit. One day, a fellow tribute approached her, extending a hand of friendship. But Lucy knew better. Was this alliance genuine or a trap? She strengthened herself with the rhythm of her own song, knowing that in this deadly game, survival alone was not enough. To move forward, one must outsmart and outmaneuver. Snow himself was caught in a tangle of doubts. He cared for Lucy deeply, but he knew the Capitol's leaders were watching his every move with suspicion. His sole mission was to protect her, yet the path ahead was anything but straightforward. Around him spread a tangled web of suspicion, betrayal, and trickery. One night, the rules shattered as an unexpected attack struck, a sudden assault cloaked in the fog of betrayal. In that storm, Lucy and Snow stood side by side, facing the tempest together. They realized that alone, they were vulnerable, but united they were strong. The games had transformed, no longer just a struggle for survival, but a test of trust, friendship, and cunning. Every step forward concealed peril, and behind every alliance lurked a question. As daylight slowly faded, the dense forest around Lucy and Snow grew heavy with a thick fog of distrust. This game was no longer just a fight for survival. It had become a battle of mental strength and cunning. Lucy's songs filled her with renewed courage, a fierce spirit hidden deep within that gave her the power to face dangers head-on. Every note was a spark of defiance against the darkness surrounding them. Snow stood by her side, trying to keep his thoughts clear and focused. Yet one question haunted him ceaselessly. Who could he truly trust? Each day brought new threats lurking in the shadows, and conspiracies to change the rules of the games rippled through the capital's highest ranks. Snow could feel the situation slipping further from his control. Determined to secure their path forward, he grew closer to Lucy, forging a bond stronger than before. Night had become their battlefield. Together, they sat beneath the canopy, whispering plans for their next move. In the tangled web of trust and suspicion, every decision carried the weight of life and death. Their friendship deepened, yet the looming dangers and swirling doubts made their journey treacherous and uncertain. In this deadly game, survival demanded more than brute strength. It required unwavering confidence and sharp intelligence. The forest where the games unfolded had grown even more menacing. Shadows lengthened, and the air thickened with doubt and deception. Lucy and Snow both yearned to trust one another, but around them, whispers of betrayal swirled like a poisonous fog. Inside Lucy, a deep question gnawed at her soul. Who could she truly trust in this deadly game? One day, unexpectedly, a tribute approached her with an offer of friendship. His words were sincere, his smile warm, but Lucy's heart remained cautious. She knew the rules of this game all too well. Trust was a rare commodity, often laced with danger. Is this genuine friendship or merely a trap? She wondered silently, guarding herself against hope. Meanwhile, Snow wrestled with his own doubts. His mind spun endless circles. Would his plan succeed? Were those around him true allies, or were they using him as a pawn in their own game? The conversations between Lucy and Snow grew quieter, heavier with unspoken fears. They both understood the peril of misplaced trust. One wrong step could mean doom. Yet, amid the tension, they found solace in each other's presence. Together, they sought to calm their restless minds, knowing that survival demanded a fragile bond of faith between them. In this harsh crucible of the games, they began to grasp the true meaning of friendship. Not just companionship, but an unyielding support against the greatest battle of all, the war against suspicion and disbelief within their own hearts. Deep in the heart of the forest, with a cold wind whispered through the trees, Lucy and Snow walked side by side. Every step they took seemed to foretell a new danger lurking nearby. Around them, a thick fog of distrust hovered, but within their hearts burned a strong and unwavering trust for one another. Lucy's voice was no longer just a melody. It carried an unyielding resolve. She knew that through her song, she could give strength not only to herself, but also to Snow. Snow sensed it too, that no matter how deep the darkness of the games was, together they had become a ray of light, glowing even amid the ashes. One day, they reached the ruins of an ancient fortress and took a moment to rest. There, in the stillness, Lucy and Snow shared a profound conversation about the meaning of life. Snow realized that true power did not come from dominance, but from an honest heart. And Lucy found a new strength, confidence in herself. In this darkness of the games, their friendship grew even stronger. They understood that together, they could overcome any obstacle. With this hope kindling within them, they moved forward, ready to face the challenges of a new day and the battles yet to come. In the dark forest of the games, where danger lurked in every shadow, Lucy and Snow pressed forward on their journey. Though the path was harsh, their spirits remained high. One day, they reached an abandoned shelter where a new tribute awaited them. He was a young man from another district named Elias. His calm demeanor and sharp intelligence brought a fresh wave of hope to Lucy and Snow's hearts. Though in these harsh moments of the games, everyone fought to survive alone, Lucy and Snow understood that solitude was a weakness. So, they decided to welcome Elias into their alliance. Together, the three began preparing themselves anew. They realized that surviving this game required not only strength, but also caution and trust in one another. Though some doubt lingered about Elias, they agreed that standing united was the wisest choice. The rules of the games grew stricter, and enemies became more dangerous by the day, but their unity was their greatest power. Side by side, they faced every threat that came their way. Their friendship deepened through trust and courage, turning them into a shining beacon of light even in the darkness of the games. This chapter marked a crucial test of their friendship and bravery, one that would shape the future of the game itself. The final stage of the games was drawing near. Lucy, Snow, and Elias now faced the toughest challenges yet. They knew there was no room for mistakes anymore. Their enemies were powerful and ruthless, and the rules of the games were growing harsher by the day. Their strategy had to become sharper, and their trust in one another complete. Lucy's voice carried strength, inspiring Snow and Elias, while they learned to cover each other's weaknesses and work as one. Their friendship had deepened, forging an invisible power between them. Every moment, they worked to create safety around themselves, preparing for any sudden attacks in the final moments. Their plan was intricate and profound. They understood how to avoid losing control of the game. Yet, Snow carried a lingering doubt. He wondered what his true power would be once the games ended. Would he remain just a player, or would he discover a new meaning for his life? For now, though, the time was only for survival, fighting, and winning. Together, they stepped into battle, their courage and trust their greatest weapons. The final battle of the games was about to begin, and before them lay the ultimate test. As the final days of the game approached, Lucy, Snow, and Elias grew even closer, standing firmly by each other's side. They knew that whatever lay ahead, there was no turning back now. Control of the game was slowly coming into their hands, but holding on to that control was the greatest challenge. Their enemies were preparing to launch new attacks, and strict surveillance loomed over them. Snow realized this battle was not only against external foes, but also a fight against his own inner fears and doubts. He understood that true strength came from self-control and courage. Lucy's song and Elias's strategies sparked new inspiration within him, and together they moved forward. Every twist in their path brought new crises. They knew no mistakes could be forgiven at this final stage. The darkness of the game deepened, but their friendship and trust became a guiding light, showing the way. In the last moments, Lucy, Snow, and Elias stood united, pledging to fight for themselves and their ideals. They knew that losing this battle would mean the end of everything. Yet, with courage, they stepped forward, believing that together they would prevail. The last day of the game had finally arrived. Lucy, Snow, and Elias knew that today's battle would be the greatest test of their lives. Their opponents were fierce, and the environment was becoming increasingly harsh. The forest lay devastated. The sky was overcast with clouds, and every second felt like a race against death. Together, they stood firm, reflecting the strength of their friendship and unity. Lucy sang her song, a melody filled with hope and a source of courage. Her tune lit a spark in the darkness, restoring lost confidence within them. Snow and Elias fought with unwavering determination, knowing they had to survive at any cost. Their unity and trust were their greatest weapons, overcoming fear and doubt. They realized that beyond the game, they were fighting a greater battle against the darkness within themselves. Lucy felt that the greatest victory in life was conquering one's own soul, overcoming fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Snow freed himself from his inner mischief and suspicion, accepting his mistakes and stepping onto a path of renewal. Elias found his true identity and purpose, confidently understanding that life's journey was not ending here, but beginning anew. Though the game ended, their story of friendship and courage began in a new light, with fresh hope. They understood that the true victory in life is not just winning a game or fight, but conquering one's own mind and spirit. Among them grew a bond that would only strengthen with time. In this chapter, a new phase of their lives began, with only memories behind and countless possibilities ahead. They knew that while hardships awaited them, new opportunities and light were also on the horizon. Together, they started their journey forward, carrying the sweet melody of their song and the light of trust. If you want to experience all the excitement and mystery this book has to offer, I've left a link for you in the description box below. Click it to read the complete story for yourself. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Story Cafe for more amazing book journeys.